Hey y'all, it's Casey. Thank you for tuning in to Random Thoughts of a 20-something, episode 2. I appreciate you guys for all the feedback that I received on episode 1. I definitely was surprised by all the feedback, but I greatly appreciate it. If you haven't checked out episode 1, be sure to do so. That episode was entitled The Life List. It is now available on iTunes, Podbean, and YouTube, and probably more websites to come, so I'll be sure to link those at the end of the podcast. So just to revisit some things from last week's episode, we kind of talked about the life list. I've received a lot of feedback, which I'm so excited about and so appreciative for, via Instagram and by email. So I asked the question, should you share it? Should you share your life list? And a listener sent in that the life list should be for an intimate circle only, or once you've accomplished it. So I totally agree with that. I think you really have to be careful with who you share it with because it is pretty personal. Like I talked about in the last episode, you're not really sure who's really here for you until they make certain comments or you take them on something that's on your life list and kind of determine that, I'm only going to have to share this with you once I've gotten it accomplished. So that listener said the life list is for intimate circle only, for your intimate circle only, or once you've accomplished it. So I'd say I have to agree. Another comment that I had is that the life list should produce good vibes. So we talked about that too. It should always have positive things on it, I think. I don't think it's a place or a tool that should have anything negative. And if it does, I'd say reevaluate it and see if you need to tweak some things or why it is on your life list. One of the other questions that I asked you guys last episode was, what do you need to make it happen? And I kind of ran down my list of money and different things like that. And this viewer or listener, whichever way you listen to episode 1, said tools, resources, and motivation. So those are the 3 things that person said they need to make it happen. Tools, resources, and motivation, which I'd completely agree with. Once again, that follow through, making sure that you have the resources to make it happen, whether it be a support system or a monetary means or, anything like that, or a partner to go on these excursions with. So yeah, I completely agree. I got a lot of responses on the term living your best life, which I thought was funny because at first I wasn't going to mention it in the podcast because I feel like it's used so much now on social media, especially on Instagram. But I really do like the term and I thought it was fitting for the life list. So I got a lot of feedback with that, living your best life, and a few YOLOs on there. So, you only live once, and that definitely ties into the life list. Let's see. Another question that I put out there was, how often should you tweak your life list? I got some feedback that said January they believe is a good month. Some people said that they decide to do it every month and just kind of see what needs to be removed or added to there. So I think it's just a personal preference. Like I said in the last episode, I tend to look at it every January and kind of dissect it and that sort of thing. But it's not to say that you can't add things throughout the year. Okay, and one of the things, and this is kind of going to segue us into this week's episode 2, a person referred to their life list as a beautiful mess. And I thought that was so interesting. I was just like, a beautiful mess. Okay. And then it just made me intrigued. Like, I wonder what's on that person's life list that makes it such a beautiful mess. Or maybe she didn't really elaborate, I assume she with their name, but there wasn't any elaboration there. It was just that general comment, and it just brought so much to me. I was just like, I wonder what makes it a beautiful mess. Was it the fact of creating one that was a beautiful mess, or maybe they feel like they're a beautiful mess? So thank you, listener, for saying that phrase, because that's prompted this episode. This episode 2, is going to be titled, I Am a Mess. Yes. That is true. I'm a mess. You're probably a mess, and it's okay. So after that whole thing happened, I got into this new show on HBO called High Maintenance. I don't know if anybody's watched it or seen little things on Instagram, little ads and stuff like that to check it out. And occasionally, like, I'll flag those on Instagram, to check out new shows and stuff. And then sometimes I'll just scroll right through it. But I like the trailer. I was like, oh, this looks like it's going to be good. So what was interesting was a few episodes in, it was like 6 episodes. And yes, I watched the whole season. They're not that long. They're about 30 minutes. And I watched it on the HBO app. But anyway, one of the episodes, they talked about embracing the miracle and the mess. And I was like, that could be a book in itself, right? It's like 2 sides to you. And I feel like this all the time. It's like one side of me is just very much, calm and positive and just like everything is everything. I'm vibing. And then I have that mess that comes in every single time that doesn't want to, do anything, or just like angry at stuff, or just annoyed, impatient. And so the two definitely collide all the time. And I'm not to say like I have multiple personalities or anything like that. But you get what I'm saying. Like, you feel how you feel. You have these counteracting feelings sometimes that kind of put you in a space that you're just like, I don't know who I am right now. I'm a complete mess. And I'm here to say that that's okay. So it kind of got me thinking about trying to find that balance of having it together while embracing the imperfections. So I could be totally positive and I could, really be enjoying life and be happy. But at the same time, something may cause me to be unhappy, or maybe at that time I'm trying to get something done and I'm totally impatient, which I have made it a point to work on. I don't know how it's working out, but I'm trying. And I just feel like if you're trying, it's fine. Like, acknowledging the fact that, hey, these are my flaws. These are my imperfections. Yes, I'm going through something right now. I'm aware of it. I can tell you that it's happening right now, but I really can't stop it. I'm going through the motions, and that's it. So if you guys do get a chance to check out High Maintenance, I have to kind of go back and see what episode that was on. It may have been episode 5 or episode 6, but I thought that was so cool. Embrace the miracle and the mess. So, I mean, that goes for anything, whether you're in a new relationship or at work or with your friends. Like, we're a little bit of both, and it's just a matter of, some people have a little bit more miracle, some people have a little bit more mess, some people are evenly distributed, and then just finding the right people to be around that it all works. So you may have that one friend that, yes, she's a mess more than she is a miracle, or have positive things going on, but you love her for that because she commits to it. She knows what's going on. It just is what it is. And then there are other people that you just may not be able to have in your circle because how they're feeling or what they're going through is a little bit too toxic for your circle or what you have going on. So it's just about evaluating that. I kind of bring this up a little bit too because I myself had a moment, and I was thinking, if somebody was recording me right now, would they either say, oh, she is so sad right now, or would they laugh? When you just have a moment where you step outside yourself, you're like so out of it, whether you're just angry or erratic or irrational, and you're just thinking, if somebody's watching me right now, what are they going to possibly think? So I'm gonna tell you guys what happened to me. This weekend, actually, yesterday, Saturday. I'm recording this on Sunday. So I'm asleep, and somebody yells up to me that my car was parked outside of my house and someone had hit my car. Mind you, the whole thing with my car, okay, I work very hard for everything that I have. I was so proud of getting my car. And I've had my car for a couple years now and everything like that. I take pride in my car, go wash it, vacuum it out. Everybody talks about, Kasey, your car is so neat. It's so beautiful. It smells so good in here. I take pride in that because I worked very hard for it. If you have a messy car, not judging you. I'm just saying that's just me. So once before, at my job, my car was hit in a parking lot. It was a hit and run. Somebody left a note on my windshield with a fake number and just left. Okay. So mind you, I've never been in an accident ever to this date. Knock on wood, it won't happen, but I've never been in an actual accident. So my car had a dent in it, right? Okay, that's number one. So then yesterday I go outside. First of all, when I tell you guys I was sleeping so good, I'd stayed up so late the previous night anyway. It's the weekend, so YOLO. And So in the middle of my sleep, like I'm just like sleeping so good, I could tell. And I really have trouble sleeping. So when I can rest well, it's good. And then when I hear somebody yelling up here, somebody hit your car, blah, blah, blah. You ever get that feeling? It's just like if you were dead, you just rose up. You know what I mean? Like you're just jolted out of your sleep. And it's just so traumatic in a way. So I like jump up. I'm like cursing. Oh, y'all, if somebody was recording me, if this was an episode of whatever reality show that I would be on, I think that people would have been on the floor laughing. I'm like cursing. I'm just like, this is why people can't have anything. You know, I'm just going crazy. Meanwhile, sliding on, just throwing on some clothes or a hoodie, like, and my hair is like curly all over my head. Go outside. Sure enough, somebody hit my car and ran. And they knocked off the casing of my mirror. So my mirror is still intact, but it's just like ugly. Like, it's okay. So I'm going through my mini stages. I'm just like fussing. I'm like almost in tears because I was just asleep and now it's so emotional. And, then I'm just rationalizing it. Well, at least the mirror didn't break, this, that, or the other. I'm having to call the police to file a police report and all this type of stuff. And here's the thing. Okay. We just have to take a moment. And this is me ranting here. So hopefully you guys don't mind. I just don't understand this hit and run business. Like, if you hit a person's car, at least have the decency to stop, put a note on there with a actual telephone number that I can reach you, or do your best to find out whose car it is. Like, the idea that you're going to hit and run, that infuriated me more than anything. And so what happened was when I went outside, I saw that my mirror was on my windshield. So I'm thinking that the person got out of their car and picked up my mirror and then put it on the windshield, which I think was even worse. But I found out that it was just my neighbor saw it in the street and put it on my, on my car. They tried knocking on my door, but of course I'm asleep. So that made it even worse. Like, this was a true hit and run. I felt so violated. It was traumatic for me. And to a lot of people, this is first world problems. And people are just like, get over it. It's a car. It's a mirror, whatever. But to me, like, I don't belittle people's stuff. Like, I might say you're all to pieces right now and just kind of laugh or giggle or whatever. But I'm letting you work through it. So I feel like don't try to, like, you're trying to look at the positive things, but right now I just don't want to be positive. Like, right now I'm going through my mess phase. I'm processing, I'm reverting back, I'm angry again. I'm saying, oh, well, looking at the positive side. Then I'm going back and I'm about to cry. So I'm just a hot mess. And this goes on for a couple hours yesterday. So not only, I'm thinking I'm going to have an amazing Saturday, slept in a little bit, go get a smoothie, blah, blah, blah. This has totally messed up my routine. So I feel like my whole day is messed up, which I was mad at myself for allowing a situation like this to kind of affect my day. I got it together later on yesterday, and then you just kind of feel like it messed up your routine. You kind of feel like, how could somebody do this? I just would never do that. You know what I'm saying? Then I was trying to rationalize, how did this person even hit my car? Like, were they flying down the street? You're just trying to put a story together. I'm trying to be my own detective. Meanwhile, the person is nowhere to be found. Like, they've been gone hours ago. So it's just really no point of wasting any more energy. That's my whole long story. I'm glad that you guys are still with me and haven't clicked off, because I know that was a lot. That's how I felt yesterday. A lot. A mess. Okay. I'm a miracle and a mess, and I accept it. So yeah, I was going through my own stuff yesterday, and I just thought about the fact of sometimes you want to look at the good side of things. Sometimes you want to be positive, but sometimes there are things that catapult you into your feelings, that make you or force you to kind of step outside yourself. And so my question here is, what crazy thing happened to you guys this weekend that made you either a miracle or a mess? I'd love to hear your feedback on this. Hopefully it's nothing too crazy or nothing life-threatening or anything like that happened to you guys this weekend, but something that just kind of, it could have been just something small to some people, but maybe it was something big to you. And I always try like not to belittle somebody's feelings, because how it affects them. Like, let them work through their steps, right? So that takes me into, I used to be I love TV, okay? I like TV shows, Netflix and stuff like that. But I used to love a show called Monk. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this show. It was on the channel USA. And it was about a detective who basically had a lot going on. He was a germaphobe, but he paid a lot of close attention to detail, and he was basically a consultant for a police department, finding murderers, killers, all this type of stuff. But his biggest thing was that he just wasn't quote unquote right. You know what I mean? He wasn't your ideal quote unquote normal person. And I'm saying it like that because people would think that he's odd. I loved it. I love the show. But anyway, so on an episode of Monk, he went through the 5 stages of grief. It was something minor, but to him, it was a major thing. I can't even remember what it was now. But he was in the police department, and all of a sudden, he started going through these five steps of understanding what was going on. Oh, you know what it was? His therapist was leaving. He was retiring or something like that. And it took Monk forever to find a therapist that he jailed with and everything. So having this person removed from his life, this isn't a relative or anything, a spouse or anything. This is a therapist, but he connected so much with him. When he found out he was retiring, he went through these 5 steps. So this is based on the Kubler-Ross model. You guys can look it up online and get more details. But the steps go like this. Step 1 is denial. So in my case or in Monk's case, you're just not wanting to accept that whatever happened is a thing. No, he just needs a little time off, like he's going to be back. No, my car really didn't get hit. Like you're just overreacting. Or no, this is really a dream because I was in my deep sleep and I can't be up right now dealing with this. So the idea of just like, this is not happening to me right now. This is a joke. Like, where is Ashton Kutcher? I know that I'm being punked. Okay. So step 1 is denial. Step 2 is anger. Okay, so I had a lot of anger yesterday. A little bit of denial, then that quickly went away, and then it was anger, and then I'd revert back to anger from another step. So you're just like infuriated that this is happening. How could this person do this to you? How could, they hit and run? How could, whatever the case may be, how could this happen to you? And you're infuriated by this. Okay, so it's just pure anger. Then step 3 is bargaining. So, this is you trying to rationalize, trying to get it together, understand, maybe this happened, maybe that happened, trying to put the story together. Or you're trying to plead with that person like, oh, well, why don't we maybe I can rearrange the schedule that's more conducive for you. Or you're retiring. Okay, well, I'll come to your house then. You're just not still in a little bit of denial, but at the same time, you're realizing this is a thing, but maybe you can convince them, or maybe you can fix this, or understand what's happening. Okay, so number 3 was bargaining. Number 4 is depression. So you're either going to be depressed, you're going to be reflective, you're going to be lonely. That's this step. So you're just like, oh my gosh, now this is more money that I have to pay for my car. Like I have to get this done. Now, how am I going to find a new therapist? Now, so you get in this stage of depression. Now, mind you, these 5 stages are supposed to take some time. And of course, these stages apply to more life-altering events, not just a hit and run car accident or something like that, or a new therapist. This could be losing a loved one or anything like that. So you just kind of fit it to your particular situation. But ultimately, it's not supposed to go fast. Like you're not normally supposed to go through these steps like super quick. On the episode of Monk, he was going through these steps in rapid pace, like within 3 or 4 seconds. So he'd be, he'd be in denial, then he'd be angry, and then he'd be bargaining. Like it was going rapidly. And that's kind of what I felt like yesterday. I was hitting these steps so quick, and it was just cycling back to one another. And then the last step is, of course, acceptance. So this has happened to me. This person is leaving. They're retiring. My car has been officially hit. Now, what am I going to do? I'm going to have to get it fixed. I'm glad nothing else happened to my car and they didn't scrape the side of my car. So now you've accepted whatever's happened to you and you're looking at, okay, how can I get this fixed? Again, this is based, 2 psychologists came up with this, and it is called the Kubler-Ross model. You will notice that now they have 7 stages of grief. They've added a few on there, but it originally started as 5 stages. So I just wanted to share that because I really felt like I was hitting those daggone stages so quick yesterday, like Monk. If anybody had a camera and would have been filming me yesterday, they would have just been having a field day. Because I was, and y'all, I was cursing. I was angry. I was almost in tears. I have this thing about karma. Like, I believe in karma and stuff. So I'm just like, this person's going to get karma for the rest of 2018. Like, I'm just, outside of myself. And I really didn't hear didn't really care who was around me or hearing me. I wanted people to hear me. I was like, I hope this person hears me, whoever hit my car. Like, sometimes we are a mess, and that is okay. So yeah, roughly that's what I just kind of want to touch on today. This idea of being a mess mixed in with a little bit of a miracle. Sometimes we have those days, and it's okay to feel the way that you feel. I don't like when people, and I was with somebody, with someone, and they were just like, you are just all to pieces right now. And I'm just like, yes, I am all to pieces. Like, yes, this is happening to me. I'm going to feel the way that I want to feel. I'm going to embellish this. I'm going to overreact because it just is what it is. So, I don't know. I just wanted to share that and just wanted to get you guys' feedback on, an incident that's happened to you guys either this weekend, or this year, or something that kind of sticks out in your mind that you want to share. Please feel free to do it. You can DM me on Instagram or on Twitter, or you can, leave a comment on YouTube or Podbean. I will be checking over the next week, all of the feedback and comments and stuff like that. And I'd love for you guys to dialogue with each other in the comment section, just so we can kind of get this going and I can see what everybody has on their minds. And if you have any ideas for future episodes, please let me know. Yeah, this one was a little shorter than last week's, but I tell you guys, like, I was just like outside of myself yesterday, and I just had to share this because I know that most people go through things like this, and it may not be life-threatening. It may not be anything that somebody would deem something to get upset about. And I pride myself on not getting too crazy on things. You know what I mean? Like, I try to take after my mom and my grandmother, and they're just like trying to find the positive and different things like that. Especially my grandmother, like, she's excellent at doing that. But it was just not happening. And I was thinking, well, maybe it was because I didn't get enough sleep. Maybe because I was in the middle of my sleep. I don't know. I have no idea. But anyway, okay, so I'm going to leave you guys with a quote of the day in reference to today's topic of I am a mess. And the quote is this: embrace the glorious mess that you are. Elizabeth Gilbert. So I leave you guys with that. Again, I'd love to hear your thoughts on today's episode. Don't forget to follow me on social media. And that is Random Thoughts by Casey. And yes, another episode down. I'm so excited for this venture. And more episodes to come. See you guys next week.